So we got a new Integra project here. There's an OG one, Built V18 turbo. Right now it's on a break-in tune, making like 10 psi. So it's not really making much power, but it is running and driving. It's just got no headlights. There's a couple things missing on this one, like the headlights. The headlight harness isn't completely ran, but you know, it's all coming together. Also got some new headlights for it with the halos. That's for the white one here, but more on this one later. For now, we're just gonna be focusing on this red one. So this red one is a friend of ours. He recently swapped the car with the B20 VTEC and it hasn't started since then, and he's just having trouble getting it started. So it came in, there was no ignition, no power to the fuel pump, but he had installed the JDI push button, and I decided to diagnose that first. When he installed the JDI push button, he forgot to plug in one of the main connectors on the fuse box, the one that controls ignition and fuel. So once I plugged that one in, I tried to start it and it cranked right up. But the starter was sticking, it was making a terrible sound, like you could see in the video that I'm going to attach. So we decided to get a new JDI kit. We put in the new JDI kit, now the car runs. It doesn't idle right because there's just a lot of stuff going on. You know, a lot of vacuum leaks, one here, one there. The intake's not hooked up. There's another vacuum leak there. So this car runs, the engine's good, it's healthy and everything, but it's not there yet, and that's what we're gonna get all taken care of. There's a bunch of other things too. We're gonna complete his power steering delete because he just has the line disconnected. That goes to the rack. And we're also gonna finish the AC delete because he just has the compressor removed and the line's just hanging there. And it's just causing a whole ruckus in the engine bay. And also the headers that he has, they make contact with the radiator fan, and they just, when we started it started smoking. And that's because it was melting that fan, because it's a plastic shroud and the headers got really hot and it was touching it and it started smoking and melted. So pretty much for this one, we're gonna take it from a half running project car that you can't drive anywhere to something that's a bit cleaner, tuned and drivable. And then eventually, whenever he does get it running, driving and tuned and all that stuff, hopefully he'll be bringing it back. We'll be pulling out the engine, prepping the bay, getting it all shaved and tucked, and then resprayed just like this one. You can see there's not many holes on this, not many holes that we're not using. It's not a complete shave, like doesn't have the plates and all that, but this customer specifically didn't want any of that done. He just wanted like an overall OEM plus clean look. And that's what we got, plus the turbo. It's a hood exit, so we got the cookies and cream, all the stuff splattering from the hood exit. But like I said, this one's going to be in many other videos. Once we finish the tuning and make final numbers on this one, we'll make a full video for this one. But for now, we're just focusing on this. And the list we have going on right now: power steering delete, the AC delete, the half size radiator conversion, because we do have the half size radiator ready to go. get it mounted, it's two, I guess you could say, dowels that mount where the factory radiator mounts. But the thing is, we're gonna have to drill these out. There's 4 pinch welds here, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna have to drill those out and relocate this mount a bit more to the left. And same with this one, just 1, 2, 3, 4, drill those out, and then we could relocate it here and sync them up to where both dowels go, and that way it'll mount, I guess you could say, the most factory way possible. And once we get it mounted, we do have one more mount up here. Depending on where it goes, I'm gonna try to make it land in the factory location. That way we could reuse the factory bracket. Let me see. So before installing the half-size radiator, we just wanna get it all cleaned up, because over here it's all messy, and down there it's all messy. It's really not a good environment to be welding in or drilling in, because you really can't see much. So we're just gonna get it cleaned up real quick, nothing crazy. It's just for us to work in a cleaner environment. Alright, so we got both of the mounts moved. We moved this one slightly more to the passenger side, and we moved that one from over there all the way down here. So right now we've just got it scuffed with the maroon Scotch-Brite pad. We just went over it with some degreaser and the Scotch-Brite pad. Now we're going to be painting it with some super thick rust preventative paint. That way all this fresh metal over here doesn't rust over the years and end up breaking off. So be using this stuff from Ace. I think this whole quart is like $14, but this stuff is good. I've used it on my trunk and other cars' trunks, and you know, it's never done me wrong. So let's go ahead and move forward with it. So here we are after the paint dried, put in the radiator. Also made a mount up here, just reused the factory mount and just drilled and tapped a hole, M6x1. Any Honda 10mm bolt will work, but I had this nicer bolt laying around, so I just used it just to match the silver with the radiator. But it's all mounted, it's stable. Got the low radiator hose done. Now we're just waiting on the upper radiator hose, and we should be good.
إذا كنت طالع.
إيه؟
كنت طالع أنت.
لا أنا كنت في الانسبكشن.
أو كنت تسوي انسبكشن؟
سويتين. حدث الدورة.
أحلى تحته.
here we are back on the Integra. Just finished the entire cooling system. Got the upper radiator hose this morning, and we also got the fan. For now, we're pretty much done with what all's going on in the engine bay. What we've got left is the oil pan gasket, and we also have the oil pressure dummy light going off, so we're going to take a look at the oil pump and the pickup tube. So we'll be removing the oil pan to first replace the gasket, and second to see what's wrong with the oil pressure sensor or the oil pressure light, to see if there's possibly a loose pickup tube or anything like that. So we're going to have to pull the headers in order to pull the fan, not the fan, the oil pump. And the header's disconnected from the bottom already, so we can just pull it off. And we can just leave it on the floor. That was loose. Okay, so we just pulled the pan off, and bad news, man, because this sucks. Looks real bad, man. It's a lot of grit, like a lot of chunks over here. Yeah, and a lot of grit. Feels like sandpaper, man. And there's a lot of glitter in the oil as well. Oh wow, there's like chunks in there. Feels something. Here it is. That feels like a rag or RTV. That's most likely the cause for that oil pressure light. This crappy oil and all the junk that's inside of it from the oil pan. It's just all over the place. You can see here it's like really gritty. I don't know if y'all could hear that. But yeah, might possibly need an engine. We'll have to pull the bearings and look at that, because this is just way too much grit. So we just talked to the customer. We decided that we're just gonna clean it up to the best of our abilities and just send it. What I'm also gonna do, I'm also gonna just pull the pickup tube and clean it out, because I don't know if there's any of those shavings still in there. So I'm just gonna pull it out. It's just 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts, and we'll just pull it out. I would check the main caps and the main bearings, but the customer doesn't want us to do that, and we'll just go ahead and get started on it. So here we are, got the oil pan cleaned up, even the baffles from the bottom cleaned up. After we put the gasket and the oil pickup tube gasket, we're just gonna put a new oil filter. We're gonna get some fresh oil in there. We're gonna start it, see if we can listen to anything. So I'm gonna go ahead and hang up the headers up, try to hook it up to the rest of the exhaust.
Sade?
Clack. That looks like. And that's right on the dot. Perfect. That's exactly where we want it. Once we start, I believe the capacity is going to get a little bit lower. We're going to probably have to top it off. But once I torque down the header, we'll get it started and we'll see what it does.